Okay, so we are going to go over the next Excel worksheet. And in order to access the next Excel worksheet, it's going to be 1-1-2 constructs and nominal ordinal interval ratio. But you're also going to need the this Word worksheet right here to go with it. And so I'm going to minimize this. And so I've got the Word worksheet on the left-hand side, and I'm actually going to go like this. Home, let's see here, design, and it really should be like this. There we go, much better. And I'm going to press save. And so this is what you're going to do. You're going to come down and you are going to label all of these as qualitative or quantitative, and then you're going to label it as nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio. And it's really important to remember that what it is that you're not labeling duration, you're labeling all of the responses. You're not labeling recorded date, you're labeling the responses to recorded date. What type of variable are the responses? What type of variable is the response ID? What type of variable is location and latitude? And so coming right here, we're going to look at this, the NOIR, and you'll see duration, recorded date, response ID, and I'm going to move myself out of the way here, location and latitude, longitude, and so on and so forth. And so this is actually really unique, and I'm going to tell you this. Location, latitude, and longitude is, I'm just going to tell you, it is quantitative and it is interval. And the reason why is there is no meaningful zero. It's just made up by a bunch of people in Europe. Um, and so zero is just another number on the line. And so you've got location, latitude, and location, longitude. When you get to zero, it just keeps on going, and it doesn't really actually mean anything. You can't multiply and divide. You can add and subtract. You can say, okay, it's 30 degrees above this or 30 degrees below that. But if you have 30 degrees compared to 10 degrees, it's not 3 times greater or 3 times less than. It's just, you can add and subtract, but you can't multiply and divide. Okay, expected numerical grade. So right here you'd put, okay, if I have a 75, 88, what is this? Also ask yourself, is there a meaningful zero? Conversely, if I were to have asked for A, B, C, D, F, would that be something different? You don't have to write that, but it would be if you were to ask for an A, B, C, D, F. And just keep on going down all the way through this, and you'll be able to answer all these questions. Then let's see here. Uh, Next, for this portion right down here, uh, go to Constructs tab. And so this right here is NOIR tab. And then Constructs tab, let's do. And then we're going to come right here and say, okay, what are the constructs? And so coming right here, you'll see we've got a whole bunch of questions. Once again, this looks really familiar to you, I'm sure. And so we have a whole bunch of questions that I asked you. And if you're wondering how I broke you all up into groups, I worked really hard at trying to spread everyone out so that way there's not any group that's extremely strong or any group that's extremely weak, but rather every single group should be pretty evenly spaced out. So there's every group is equally as strong. And the way that I did that is I had you guys fill this out and I scored you all on all of these different constructs. And you're like, oh, I answered like 200 questions. Does that mean that you scored me on 200 different constructs? And the answer to that is no. Okay. For instance, I've got this interpersonal group work. This right here is one construct. Okay, so I've got this one construct right here, and this is the only construct I'm going to tell you about. You can look at the rest of the construct. But interpersonal group work, all of these questions give me insight into your interpersonal group work or your skills with your interpersonal group work. And so, depending on your score for interpersonal group work, this would be like, for instance, this is the average score for this person's interpersonal uh, group work, or looks like it might be a little off. But oh, I see what I did. I modified it a little bit, but um, interpersonal group work, that would be the score for interpersonal group work, and then this would be the construct. All of these questions would comprise the construct for task group work. It's not a perfect science, but it's something that gives us a really good close estimate to something that can't be completely objectified. Like, I can't look at this and say, okay, how heavy is your group? That means nothing. Yes, it's objective, but you can't really do anything with that. Instead, you have to ask questions that give you insight into a construct, into, this concept, if you will. You've got this concept of interpersonal group work. How do you work well, interpersonally with one another inside of a group? And all of these items right here give me insight into that idea, and give me a score about that. And so that's how you make a construct. You make a construct by looking at all the different ideas that contribute to that idea. So all the different concepts. So these are all different actions or different activities that contribute to this concept of interpersonal group work. And so, besides interpersonal group work, list three other constructs from this, which you'll see there's plenty of other ones, and then write just like what I just said about how these contribute to this idea. Write about how something else contributes to another idea in here, another construct in here. Um, and so that'll be how you work with this one in particular. And that's all that you have to do for this particular Excel. This one's actually pretty short and straightforward. The ones in the future will definitely be a bit more in depth. But another thing that I want to show you before I let you go off of this is how I get your all's data. And so when somebody puts around $300 that they spent on books, it's not a number. I just have to go in there and clean up the data and put 300. Quite a bit. I don't know what that means. 1600-ish. So I'm just going to be 1600. 400, and I have to go in and quite a bit. I literally just have to delete it because I don't know what that means. Whatever the newest model is when I get it. So 2026. So we're going to put 2026. So 97 degrees. So you'll notice when you get data like this, you've got to clean it all up, and it takes quite a bit of time. Additionally, individuals who did these, um, when you put NA, Iron Man, when people spell Iron Man differently, the Flash, Captain America. So you have Flash, the Flash, and then different ways that people spell it. It makes it more difficult, and so that's something when you're dealing with raw data like this, you've got to go in and clean it up before you're able to actually do anything with it. And so often you actually get all of this data and it's already all cleaned up and pretty for you. But I wanted to make you very aware that data is very rarely ever pretty. It's very difficult to work with until you clean it up. So yeah, that's just a little sidebar. So work on these Excel workbooks and the Word workbooks, and yeah, then take the quizzes.